Alrighty, good morning, folks. We're talking about modeling fractions today. And modeling fractions is one of those kind of prerequisite early skills that make some of the SOLs that we're going to deal with a lot easier. We're just about to start delving into fractions, and I think that this is a good place to start. When we talk about modeling fractions, we're trying to create a picture or a drawing of a given fraction. Maybe to gain an understanding about what we're looking at, maybe just to model it. But more or less, if we can model things, we can gain a better understanding so that maybe we can use it for calculating. Maybe I could take a given fraction, model it, and then use that to carry out some sort of math function, which we will do at some point during this year. As always, a fraction, it consists of a numerator and a denominator, and you know where they are. Your notes can support that. And if I can give you any quick advice, it would be to keep it simple. Don't make a picture that is so complicated that you don't understand it. Keep it simple. I like to draw either a little pie chart or pie graph, sometimes using some sort of grid, rectangle that has certain compartments or sections shaded in. I like to use other larger rectangles because they are relevant later on, and I hope some of the examples will help to support that. So keep it simple. Shading is always easy to start with, and just use that. Color is fine, I guess, if you're to the point where you feel comfortable with coloring things. Welcome to middle school. But I always think shading is easiest because if you just have a pencil, you can do all of these types of examples. So let me show you some examples here. And I'll give you a second. I got to find my marker. Found my marker. All right. So when we're looking at some examples of models, I use the model 5/8 as the one that I wanted to work with you on. And I came up with a couple of examples of some simple pictures that you could use. Using a circle is always really easy, especially when you have a denominator like 2 or 4 or 8. Those are pretty easy to separate into equal pieces. When you get to the thirds and the fifths and stuff like that, it gets to be a little bit dicey. But as long as you have a decent idea of it and you can make the relatively equal compartments, it's okay. I like this one a lot because it's going to help us later on in the school year. This is just a basic example of how we can mark that out. If you look at all of them, you see that you have 8 equal sections or relatively equal sections. 8 here, we have 8 here, 4 and 4 is 8. You have 8 here, 1, 2, hopefully 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So having 8 total sections, which is reflected in the denominator, we want to in turn look at the numerator and figure out how many of those equal sized pieces that we're going to shade in, and so it's like 5. So I'm going to shade in 5 of these. Doesn't matter which 5 you shade in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't really matter. And I'm not shading the entire thing in because I want you to see the rest of the figure. I'm shading 5 here, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see that it's more than half. If you block off the left half, you can see that you have half of it shaded in and 1 extra. Okay. When it comes to this one, just do a little bit of shading here. We go 1, 2, terrible shading job, don't tell anybody. I did get some different markers too. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I have 3 unshaded, 5 shaded in. Pretty easy to see that. And that's all I would do to model it. A very simple picture. When I'm modeling something that is larger than 1, like 3 2/3, it looks as though I have to have some whole figures shaded in as a given. I have 3 there, so I must have 3 whole figures shaded in. And I have 2/3 here, so I'm going to have a 4th figure that I'm going to have to demonstrate has 2 sections shaded in out of 3. And that just kind of goes back to what we talked about before. So overall, you're really just drawing a picture of what you see in the fraction. And just remind yourself that the numerator is telling you how many boxes or how many sections to shade in. The denominator is telling you how many total sections you should have. So you can see a relationship between the numerator and denominator with a picture. Hopefully I didn't speak too fast. I'm going to let you guys pause if you need to take down any notes, jot down any of this stuff, review it, feel free, ask questions in class, and I'll see you later.